One of the most important parts of any build is the finish. And depending on the project, there's a ton of different ways to achieve the look that you're going for. On this channel, I cover a lot of rustic looking builds, and a lot of the time, just to keep a video shorter, I'll cut out my finishing, painting, or distressing techniques. And I'm not doing that because what I do is some big secret. I'm just trying to get back into the build as soon as I can. But this video is going to be all about the different painting, staining, and distressing techniques that I use to turn new wood into a vintage style project. So to start with, we're going to be talking about some painting techniques. Distressing your paint is a big part of your project, and some projects only need paint distressing. Here in a minute, we'll dive into some techniques for distressing the wood itself, as well as the techniques that I use for getting a nice antique finish just using stain. So for the paint distressing, there's a million different looks that you can get and a million different ways to achieve those. But we recently did a video where we built a vintage barn birdhouse. And I got a ton of questions on how exactly I got that nice vintage barn look. I'll go ahead and show you how to do that, but keep in mind that you can use these techniques for any project. Okay, so this is the look that we're going for. And you can see how everything just looks aged and worn. So you have to think to yourself, what exactly are we trying to achieve with distressing? Well, you're trying to replicate age. You're trying to replicate what this wood would look like if it was finished 100 years ago. If it had had several different layers of paint and been through about every type of weather known to man. What it would look like with oxidation, UV fade or wear, or even 100 years of grime and just being used. Well, once you're able to kind of picture that look in your head, well, it's going to be a lot easier to replicate. This is kind of what I came up with. And you probably noticed on my little sample board here, got a little makeshift hanger because I actually added this to a collection of different finishes that I've done. And I also have a little nameplate here, super bad handwriting so no one else can read it. I just wrote down what different paints that I use to achieve this look so that if I want to do this again later, be easy to do. So the first thing that I do on any of these paint distressing projects is to add a base color, be sticking out from the distress marks, and oftentimes that's black. So on smaller projects, I almost always use spray paint. You'll notice I have a huge collection of different color spray paints because oftentimes it takes a few different colors to get the look that you're going for. Okay, so there's probably a lot of people out there saying, okay, you finish these projects with spray paint. They don't do that in nice furniture shops. Well, if you think about it, what essentially is a spray gun? That's what furniture shops use to finish wood. It's just paint that you add to a gun that turns it into an aerosol. Hence, spray paint. Okay, so like I mentioned, we're going to start this off with a base coat of black. Most of the time, you're just going to use a matte finish. Now, the key thing to remember anytime that you're using spray paint is to keep a good distance from the project. If you get too close, the paint's going to pull. For this, we just want a nice even coat. Nothing too thick because we're about to cover it up. And then for my next layer of paint, I'm just going to use some basic white. Now, this doesn't have to be heavy at all. So to get this lighter look, I'm just going to hold my paint a little further away from the material. And then to top all of this off, I just picked a color of red that I thought matched an old barn. For this coat, we'll actually put it on pretty heavy. You see that I didn't put as much paint on my ends? Well, I did that for a reason. If you think about old barn wood, what has the most wear? Well, it's the ends of the boards. Okay, so now that we have our paint stacked, that's what I like to call it, paint stacking. Do the same thing with stains, call it stain stacking. Pretty creative with my names, aren't I? So once we have this all stacked on here, it's dry. Next thing we're going to do is to bring out some of these different colors at different levels to get our look. And to do that, I'll either use a little handheld sander here with about 120 grit on there, or just a sanding block. For this look, I'm going to be focusing on the ends of the board and also try to bring out some of our other colors. Even if you sand all the way down to your wood, that's completely fine. Basically, try to picture any part of this material that would actually get the most wear, and just sand a little bit more there. And this is about where I would take this one to. So we have an awesome mix of the natural wood, the black with a little bit of white coming out around it, and then the burnt red look. And then the final step that I would do just to lock all of this in is to put a clear coat spray finish on top. And you can really use about any clear coat that you would like. If it's going to be outside, just use a spar urethane or an exterior polyurethane. Again, this is one of the ways that you can distress just using paint. Let me show you another technique that you can use to get more of a chipped paint look. And for that, we're going to be using Vaseline. Yep, you heard me right. Vaseline. Just regular old dollar store buck-a-can Vaseline. So again with this, we're going for a chipped paint look. So anytime that you have chipped paint, you're going to have an undercolor. Now I've already painted this board black, but if you wanted it green or anything like that, then go for it. But essentially the key for this is to dip a cheap paintbrush down into your cheap petroleum jelly and just hit the material anywhere that you'd like the base color to show through. Most of the time this is going to be on the edges, but if you wanted to add a couple of spots onto the face itself, go for it. And once you have your Vaseline in place, you'll just coat your top with any color that you would like. And the whole point of the Vaseline is for the paint to not stick there. So once you get done painting the project, the next step is pretty easy. Just wiping it off. And anywhere that you brushed on your Vaseline will look like chipped paint. And if you wanted to take this look a step further, just hit it with a sander. Okay, so now that we've covered a couple of the main painting techniques, new word, techniques. So now that we have covered some of the main painting techniques, let's go and move into some staining. That's where the S came from in techniques. Okay, so achieving a vintage look with stain is a little bit different with paint because you can actually see the wood underneath of the stain. Well, they have a lot of very good stains out there, but I haven't found one yet that works with all different types of wood to give it that nice antiqued look. So to show you the process that I go through, I'm going to use this door panel and do some stain stacking. So a lot of time whenever you're trying to age something using stain, you're really just trying to get that nice aged ambered look. So just like with the paint, one of the first things that I'll typically do is to apply a base color stain. And again, I usually start with something a little darker. Now this is something that you're going to have to play around with because each species of wood takes stain a little bit different and looks a little bit different. So since this particular wood is already a little dark before I add stain, I may not start off with a super dark base stain. So for this material, I'll try some special walnut. As you can see, I'm using a foam brush just to get down into the grooves. But think about those deep grooves on any type of old furniture that you've seen. What's typically in those grooves? Well, 100 years of dust and grime typically. And as gross as it sounds, yeah, we're going to be replicating that look shortly. And then once your base coat is dry, let's add something with a red tint to it. I like to use a red mahogany or a Minwax honey color. Or if one isn't doing the trick, use both. Once you have your second coat on, just let that sit for a few minutes and then wipe off any excess. Now with just a couple of stains, we have a super nice kind of ambered honey look. And if I weren't able to get this look with just 2 stains, I would just keep stacking until I got the look that I want. So a minute ago, I mentioned something about dirt and grime down in these cracks and corners. Let's go and add that look to it. So right now we're at a clean distressed look. But what we're about to do will set your finish apart from anyone else's. So pretty much any time that you see this look, they use one specific technique, wax. We're using a dark wax to replicate any place that would catch dirt and hold it. But instead of buying black wax, how about we just make some? So I'll just take a little paste wax, put it on a piece of scrap, and then I'll use a dark stain to tint it. I'm using black stain for this, but you can use brown or any other type of dirt color. One other thing that I like to do before I add my wax is to spray a thin coat of finish on the project. This will keep your wood from soaking up the black stain. Now that we have our wax stained, I'm just going to push some down into my corners and grooves. And I know what you're probably thinking. Okay, so he's taking this beautiful finish and he's just rubbed baked dirt all over it. But you're going to have to trust me on this one. As bad as this looks right now, this thing's going to turn out awesome. And once you have your wax in all the corners that you want it in, just wipe off the excess. And check that out. Before, after. So distressing wood is one of my favorite parts of just about any project. Just about anyone can build something, but there's not many people out there that can take something built out of new wood and realistically make it look vintage. So since we're about to move on to distressing, let me show you what I would do to this to make it look a little bit older. Now this is where we'll add in the dents, scratches, and just character from everyday life. But for something that we're staining, I'm going to take it a little easier. So after I've added a couple of dents and scratches, I'm going to mix up a little bit more of my dirt wax. I guess we'll call it dirt wax. Let's just call it black wax. Black dirt wax. Okay, black wax. Then any of those dents or scratches that I've made, I'm just going to push in some of this wax. This is just going to help to kind of highlight those areas. Then just like before, we'll just wipe off the excess. Okay, that looks pretty good. Then my last step, just to darken up some of my grain, I'm just going to spread out some of this black paste wax all over the entire thing. This is going to allow some of that black wax to get into the grain of the wood. And then again, we'll just wipe this off. And the cool thing about distressing is you can just keep playing around with it till you get the look that you want. Okay, so this level of distressing just a little bit heavier, and it makes the grain of the wood just a bit darker. But something as cheap and simple as adding just a bit of dark paste wax into these grooves and nicks really sets this thing off. So this is what it looked like, and now it's 100 years old. I think that it looks awesome, but let me show you some other distressing techniques. So distressing is a perfect way to get out all that pent up aggression. Take it out on the project. And you can do this for anything that you want to look old, whether it be painted or stained. So as you can see, I'm using the second half of this panel. Now this side I want to look really distressed. So I started off by sanding down any of my sharp edges. And now I'm just using some of my distressing tools. So whenever I say distressing tools, yeah, I mean a hammer and a hatchet. You know, those types of tools. But I'm also using a pick to replicate wormholes. And if you think about an old piece of furniture, there's usually a dented impression of an old nail or something like that. So get creative with this. And a wire brush just to help the grain pop. Once your project has all the character that you want it to have, now's when you start stacking some of these different techniques that we've covered. So I'm going to start off with my stain stacking to get that nice ambered color that I like. Then I'll hit it with a light finish and then use my paste wax to bring out that grain and age. And there you have it. So for this, our distressing is mainly going to hit the outside edges. But take a look at this thing and tell me that it doesn't look like an old piece of furniture. So for this, we have some heavy distressing here on the end. The middle of it has just a little bit of bleed over stain there. And the opposite end has more of what I call just an antiqued look. So same board, 3 totally different looks. And the super cool thing is that any of these can be achieved just using tools and finishes that you probably have laying around your shop. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different, but I think that it's something that we needed to cover. And I hope that you were able to learn something from this. Now, yes, there's several other things that you can do for distressing projects, but if you take those core techniques and just add different things to it, you can achieve any type of realistic look that you want. So this is just another example of how thinking outside of the box and putting just a bit of your creativity into a project can make it one of a kind. Are you ready to try out some of these distressing techniques? Well, you know what time it is. Time to get up, get out, get your build on. Till next time, we'll see you. Imagine taking a pile of wood and turning it into something amazing. Now, imagine doing that without years of frustration. You do not need a fancy workshop, expensive tools, or years of experience. With Woodworking Kickstart, you'll build confidence and real skills in no time. So you can spend years making mistakes and learning the hard way like I did, or you can start building with confidence today. So join me in Woodworking Kickstart and let's get your journey started.